everyone, today I'll be reviewing this disaster movie. It is came out in 2004. It's called Days After Tomorrow and it is starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Dennis Quaid, and this movie it is directed by Ronald Emmerich, the guy who has recently directed Moonfall, Midway, Independence Day, many more disaster movie. I remember watching this movie when I was young, and after all this year, after watching this movie, I was personally really surprised. This movie, first of all, visually, it just looks so amazing. Some of the scene in this movie, especially all the twister scene, all this disaster scene, visually they just looked so amazing after all this year, like after 20 years, it's really impressive. I see this movie, it is trending on Netflix because a lot of people will be probably watching this movie for the first time, and it's really astounding watching this movie. Of course, this movie it is directed by the guy has recently directed Moonfall and Independence Day, Ronald Emmerich. And I personally, really, after watching this movie, I just realized this guy, he's really very talented, telling disaster movies, especially all this visually, they just look so amazing. Like even in 2024, some of this, especially all this snow scene and the flooding scene and everything, it's so impressive. It's really impressive. Of course, the biggest thing about this movie is how it is so scientifically, it's so inaccurate, honestly. And like when I was watching it, after watching it, when I think about it, I'm just like, in a way, it's so inaccurate. And the way these characters behave in this movie is really like unbelievable. Like especially, it is supposed to be minus 50 degrees, where in 1 second everything freezes. Dennis Quaid, his character, like he's journeying from, I think, Washington DC to New York by foot in this movie. In like what? He's supposed to be there in 10 days? How is that possible in this movie? Yeah, this is one of this movie, honestly. First act is actually quite impressive, but as this movie went on, all this plot hole and all this scientific inaccuracy, I was like, oh my god, this is just, especially someone where I am from, I'm really from very cold place, and during the winter time, it's so cold. You cannot walk like this outside. Like so many times, this character, they're walking without gloves. And I was like, are you kidding me? How are you walking like this? Because your hand freezes in the cold. Even in driving in this kind of winter, it's so hard. Like how these people are just walking. It's like really unbelievable. Then still this movie is visually so impressive. Still, this is one of this movie, as a critic, I see it like how visually it's so it's just so good, and how the story is just so stupid. But overall, still it is very engaging, intense disaster movie that I think is must watch. You gotta check this out. This movie is really visually stunning. Although story is really scientific, it's so how you get ice age in 1 day, or in few hours, it takes time to melt those ice in Arctic. And although this movie was it just brush over like this, you're like, oh my god, the world is ending. If you can ignore all this movie still it is quite intense, and overall it's really surprisingly quite engaging, honestly. And Dennis Quaid, he's not that good actor, especially the first 10 minutes in this movie, the way his face expression and he was acting in this movie, I was like, he's really not a good actor, is he? Dennis Quaid, he's not. That is why he never get any good role in Hollywood. He's not nominating for Oscar, or any good director will not bring a script to him because he cannot give you good performance. He always have the same expression, look. And I was like, are you kidding? This guy, he died for your son, to save your son. You're giving me same expression. I really like Jake Gyllenhaal, honestly. He was really young that time, and still he gave such a, the way director asked him to I think he gave really good performance in this movie. Like, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. He's so good actor. I mean, like, he has given other better performance, but in this movie, still he was good. Because end of the day, remember, he was young that time, and still he gave such a like good performance. However, though, the person who is his girlfriend, I did not like her acting. She was such a bad actress in this. The acting isn't that good. I mean, like, this is a one blockbuster, you know. That means I do want to mention this because, like, this movie came out in 2004. And just couple of years after Titanic, you know. Although as I was saying, this movie visually it's really look really amazing because I have seen Titanic so many times. When I was watching this movie, I can see so many shots, especially all the flooding shot. Some of these people dying shot. He really took inspiration from the Titanic movie. I was like just feeling it, you know. Especially recently, I watched Titanic and I was like, whoa. Roland Emmerich, he took a lot of inspiration from the Titanic movie. Obviously, he's not that good at telling a story as much as James Cameron, but he did try to, you know, copy some of those visual and I think he did a good job. You know, this guy, he can tell good visual story. Unfortunately, still though, after watching Moonfall, I really wish he will get a good script, you know. He really needs a good movie script, someone who can write him a good story or good dialogue, I guess. In this movie, so many bad characters, I was like, some of them are really, but still this movie, it is so engaging. It's way better than his other movies. This movie is definitely up there with the Independence Day and like, and I do like Independence Day so much. So it's not up there as that, but it's definitely better than Moonfall, Midway, you know. But I was thinking, it's way better than Midway and Moonfall. And I say it's really worth checking this movie, especially the visually. Then again, who hasn't seen this movie? I guess a lot of people still have not seen this movie because this movie, it is trending #1 Netflix. And that's my thought on this. Let me know in the comment. Have you seen this Day After Tomorrow? How you feel about this movie? Is so scientifically inaccurate. And yeah, visual is really amazing. But still, I think it's worth checking. And that's my thought. Let me know in the comment if you enjoyed about this review. Don't share other reviews on other movies. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Until I see you next time, please take care.